Glad to have you back on Newsday. Nigeria's youth represent a vibrant and dynamic force with immense potential to shape the future of the nation. However, experts say unlocking this potential requires deliberate efforts to empower young people with the right tools, opportunities, and mindset to contribute meaningfully to the society. Empowerment begins with education, not just formal schooling, but also practical skills and values that foster innovation, leadership, and social responsibility. Providing youth access to quality education and vocational training equips them with the competence needed to thrive in a competitive world. Beyond education, creating avenues for active participation in governance, entrepreneurship, and community development helps youth find their purpose. When young people are included in decision-making processes, they develop a sense of ownership and accountability towards nation building. Now for a conversation about the empowerment of Nigeria's youth for purpose and nation building, St. Edmund, convener of the Hope Age Global Empowerment Foundation, now joins us on Newsday. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me too.
Tell us about Hope Age. What's it about?
Hope Age is just coming up new. This is the first time. And it's aimed at just as you said, empowering the youths to get them out of the street, to give them skills of what they should do for reasonable thinking. Of course, you go into the streets, you see a lot of youths. Youths have forgotten the barber shop. If you look at the head now, it looks so twisted about men, and it's like Rasta, it's called Rasta. So, and smoking, drugging, and all that. So the aim is to give them the good knowledge, because I think the same intelligence used for this stuff could be, diverted to reasoning very, reasonably. So that's the main aim, to get the youths understand that there is more reasonable life that aims at, futuristic success.
Very good.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Edmund,
Yes.
it's one thing to be able to try and...
St. Edmund, sorry.
Okay, St. Edmund, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
thank you.
St. Edmund. It's one thing to be trying to help the youths, and it's another for them to actually be able to receive that help, as it were, or assistance. So how receptive are Nigerian youths to the prospect for change in their fortunes by NGOs such as yours? What are the challenges you've had to encounter to convince them, to do the right thing?
Yeah, that's the reason why we have a lot of intellectuals who are very skillful enough to impart good knowledge to people. Like we have some professors, some doctors, some entrepreneurs, so put good understanding. In fact, the purpose of this Hope Age is to empower the knowledge, to redirect the knowledge from, destruction to productivity. And so that's the main aim. So, and that's why there's not just only one speaker. Even the Ministry of Youth Empowerment in Lagos State, they'll be represented here, and people from diaspora and within the community here in Nigeria. Yeah.
Is this the inaugural, conference, as it were?
Yes.
Is this the first one?
Yeah,
so
the first
you
one,
haven't
yeah.
actually encountered a kind of reluctance on the part of the youth. What has been the response, regarding them attending this conference?
Yeah, we give them the registration contact. Can I mention that? That's recoveryworldtv.org to register there, and then a lot of response, but not as expected, because we expected about 3,000, but as of now, it's just over 300, because it's quite new. Yeah, and when there is something new, you expect some people to explore the Odyssey to know if it's something worth doing, because a lot of NGOs might have come up in the past to do something, and then they ended up doing nothing. Yes. So according to the information we got, but we said no, we're not that type, because we've come even for continuous, annual repeats of the same program.
Yes.
Yes.
So in your research, I believe you've done some research before delving into this kind of innovation or, initiative. In your research so far, what would you say is responsible for the leadership and vision vacuum that many young people in Nigeria face?
Well, I can say we made that research, and we discovered that there's a lot of lack of interest in progression of the convention of academics. Many drop out from the school, and people have friends outside responsibility, to do some other things which are actually unconventional to the building of the society. So as a result of that, I think that I don't want to go so far, but I think the young people need much money now than anything. Much money. They need money. So we're researching to know, why do people need money? I'll tell you, there's what's called neurosis in our diagnosis of neurosis. This neurosis has to do with the disease of naira. Yeah, that's neurosis.
Practically.
Yes, I'm telling you. So they love money, and now charges and many things happening about money. Everybody loves money more than the country. This is not a nation building, concept.
Which begs the question, since some of them prefer to indulge in get-richer schemes,
Yes.
the love of money and everything. So how do you ignite a sense of purpose in the youth, to deviate from that and embrace, practical solutions of which, some of your, conference will at least shed light on?
Yeah, you see, there's this empowerment of knowledge to navigate your intelligence into the appropriate use or manner of use. Because as a man thinks, that is how he is. You can be more than what you think, and you're always on that level. So as a result, we, intend, the main aim is to make people reason normally, and then to see if they could get back to the right track.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this year's theme emphasizes reviving dreams and igniting purpose. Can you highlight some key speakers? And are there breakout activities and sessions that attendees will participate in? What exactly would the outlook be?
It will look very great in our expectation, because you have experienced speakers, some of the speakers may not be on the ground, and some will be on the ground. Now, we have speakers from diaspora, like Sweden. We have speakers like from the Lagos State, Medical Association. We have also people that are into education, into sports, into some reasonable things necessary to engage the youths to do what they should do for the benefit of the nation. Yeah, because most of the Nigerian sports men and women have made the country proud. Yeah, so there are some who have talents, but their talents seem to be diverted to something else. So what is your talent is the issue. What are you thinking you should be? What do you think you should be? I mean, what do you think of your tomorrow? What do you think of your 10 years to come? Yes. So that's exactly what we are doing.
Mr. Edmund, it must take a lot of passion for you to be involved in this quest, to try to help those young people out there. So what is fueling this passion for it?
What?
What is fueling your passion for this quest?
Yeah, because of the eyesore, I don't know if I'm right to use that word, eyesore, what we see within the society, what we see within society, like we are fathers. You see children who are supposed to be your children misbehaving and bringing the nation down, bringing families down, making noise in the streets, and fightings and all that. So we've been thinking, how can we ameliorate this situation? How can we do that? So in the process, this came up, and we're in collaboration with not just within this country. This is international. Yeah. Yes, we have base in New York, in Sweden, in London, in Nigeria, and everything, and expect youths around the world. Listen, this country is not the worst. I'm telling you, because I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, you have nations where they stab. Their own is to stab. You have some countries, I don't want to mention their names because they're not going to pay me for it. Yeah,
but
so
the potential's out there for it to get worse, and that's why we're taking the steps you're taking?
Oh, of course, yes. It may get worse if they're not caught on time.
So is this going to be a one-off conference, or what are your sustainability plans? What's your plan for the next 5 to 10 years for Hope Age?
Yeah, the Hope Age is an annual event. So this first takeoff will determine what the future will be. But we hope definitely that it will be getting better. Yes. So this time, if there are flaws, we know how to manage the situation and do better. Nothing is always perfect at the first, as the first time or maybe onset. At the inception of everything is never very perfect. But we hope with what I've put together already and the counselors and the stakeholders and people that matter, people that have experience, that have the same passion to make things work better are the members of the team of the international and the local committees concerning the Hope Age. So it's going to be getting better. I'm sure that in the next 5 years, you'll be part of it. You like to be there to witness yourself.
All right. For those who are still undecided and probably watching, what you're trying to do here, what do you have for them, in terms of attendance, as it were?
Oh, yes. First of all, we'd ask them to go to Recovery World TV gmail at gmail.com. They go there, they have to reach it. You see all it takes to be part of it. And we promise all the participants that their lives will get better, because they say when the mentality is deranged, it needs to be re-empowered, it needs to be healed, it needs to be restored to make them reason the other way. You always reason on what is on the table, what you see. Like what you focus on is what is in your mind. As I'm looking at you now, I'm not looking at some other place. So there's a kind of connection now. Maybe I see you tomorrow. I say, yes, I've seen that man somewhere. Yes, something like that. So we expect that everyone that is coming for hope. That's why it's called Hope Age.
Let me take a cue from what you just said. Yeah. People become what they consistently look at. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Do the Nigerian youth have the right figures, the right leaders to look up to? Because when you look at the entertainment sector, you see the kind of music that are being churned out. When you look at our leaders politically, you see the people who are the helm of affairs. When you look at everywhere, it looks like the decay has permeated through every sector. Do they have the right pictures or the right people to look up to?
Yeah, you may not have the right people, but you may have the right knowledge to empower you as an individual to be yourself, to be what you should be, without looking on decayed leaders and decayed masters, decayed governors or presidents or anyway. I'm talking globally because I'm a global star, so I know what I'm talking about. So it's not particularly with these nations. I'm very cautious as well, so that the politicians watching may know this is a new opposition to our system. But if a youth is empowered, for instance now, if a youth is made to know this is what you can become to bring gain into the society, good news. And what do you think is good for this country? I say, yes, I wish this country can be. That's how we get to know. I wish this country can do this. I wish they can do this. Okay, now these are your wishes. You can make it happen. So we are looking at leaders for tomorrow. These leaders for tomorrow are people who may not even come into the government, but will be able to become entrepreneurs, people who can, be able to help the junior ones, help the erring ones, help those that have missed their way. Yes, and bring them back. Somebody can miss his way. A driver was driving the other time and said, look, please, where am I going? Is this the right way? Because he missed his way. Yeah. So most of us have missed our way. So I don't want to look at the leaders who are decayed and all that. It's going to get worse.
Which brings me to the next question. The immediate past administration, to a large extent, tried to help the youth in terms of participatory politics. With the not too young to run bill since then, how would you assess youthful participation leadership positions? And of course, that zeal, that desire to hold public office, as it were. Briefly, please, what are your thoughts on this? Because it's a form of empowerment too, but this is where private organizations and individuals like you also come in terms of mentorship.
Yes. Such question was asked me when I was in one of the television stations to talk of the Hope Empowerment. Hope Age Empowerment. I even made a call to the federal government and said, look, I will see what the president is trying to do to help the youths, and they come up there. That's exactly what we do. So we call the government to be part of the Hope Age Foundation to assist us, because we cannot help the government, but we can work with the government. You understand? We can work with the government, but we cannot help the government. So, and we made that call. I'm making the same call today, and in case they're watching at me. So I'm St. Edmund, and I want the government to come in and then recognize what we're doing. But I want to be very much appreciative to the Lagos State Youth Ministry of Youth Empowerment. They have recognized what we're doing, and they are going to be part of the conference as well.
All right. We must appreciate you for your time and wish you all the best in your upcoming conference. St. Edmund, convener of the Hope Age Global Empowerment Foundation, thank you for your time.